Okay, hello everybody. It's me again, Margaret. Welcome to another episode of Spleen Squeezin, where we basically waste bandwidth with our ignorant pretensions. Alright, let's see here. Open this up, view on watch page. Close it off. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if anybody's home. Okay. Found. Are you hearing the Tweety birds? Because I can't tell if the Tweety birds are being heard. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm going to assume you can hear the nature sounds because it's because the little meter thingy on. I don't know what this is. I don't know why it's lagging so much. This here, the Adobe Flash Media Live Encoder. I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact I have so many programs stacked on top of each other to do this. But okay, let's see. Today's Friday, isn't it? Friday. Okay, gonna be opening up Manga Studio. And I said before, I'm gonna be doing all this in, Hey, Daniel. Just here for a few minutes. You're saying you're rocking off across the metro to see your dad again. Hey, well, good. All my prayers for you all. I hope he's doing well. I hope he does, and I hope he heals up real well and real quick. So, okay, we're starting on the first page of Space Ranger. I had a rather busy day today. Went to the hospital for my appointment with the wound care center. Ended up down in the ER. Doctor took a look at me and put me on some antibiotics because I got an infection, cellulitis infection, cellulitis, however you pronounce it. And, I had to go down to the emergency room because he thought I might have a clot in my leg. Well, they sent me down there, and I sat around for a few hours, and then they scanned me and everything. It turns out it was no clot, so I'm good. Still, got to the hospital at 9, didn't get out of there until 2:30. Then I had to run over to Walmart and grab a few things, like my prescription. And speaking of which, I better take the tablet, shouldn't I? Give me just a sec. Be right back. I'm on another 2-week course of antibiotics. It's just cellulitis, but he's putting me on levofloxo, something impronounceable. I'm just thankful it didn't turn out that I needed a hospital stay again. Words like blood clot and kind of wrecks your day. Okay, I can at least start the pages in. Probably be swapping the images back and forth between the two because each one has features that the other doesn't. They blocked another one of my videos. They blocked yesterday's video. I had to put in. We've identified, you know, and they give the name of some funky group. At such and such, at such and such point in your video, we have, you know, identified this sound file. You know, it's random wood flutes, wind chimes, and rain noises. Just what trained monkey do they have programming these things? Whatever computer program or algorithm or whatever they have identifying copyrighted music is a piece of crap. It identified, it identified random nature sounds as some blues and jazz record, to go by the title they gave. Of course, I've seen them demonstrate this. One guy showed is that they had that app on their cell phone that identifies music by a sound clip. He showed using it. It identified a running blender as Skrillex. time I got out of the hospital, I was half starved. Ended up going to the McDonald's, and I had to, just made it all one stop. Went to McDonald's at the Walmart. Excuse me. Yeah. I'm taking that one off my list. What am I looking at? Forgot what I was looking for. My brain just stopped. I just can't. Okay. Gmail. Gotta go over who's the crew on each of these ships. Already got that one. Delete. Okay. Oh, sold. Ooh, somebody bought several of my Indie Planet books. That's nice. Level 50. Okay, Daniel, you have your, got yours here. You made a $200 pledge. You wanted two $100 slots, right? So, okay. I'm assuming you and your wife? Oh, well, I guess you've already left then. Well, I'll ask later then. Ronry, Mr. Ronry, dee doo dee, da da da. Come on, computer. Giddy up, 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 giddy up. Better off hand drawing it. I need to commission somebody to make some 3D models of my ships and so on and so forth. Ships and space stations and maybe a few buildings, that kind of thing. And save them in a format where I can pop them into a 3D program and rotate them to get whatever angle I want. come on. Fudge. Let's see, is anybody in here? Is there anybody watching? I'm guessing no. It's very, very tempting. Character is what you are when nobody's watching, I suppose. Let's see. Image, mirror. Rotate. Right. No, it's not supposed to do that. Anybody in the room? Give a holler back. Give a holler back. Give a holler back. There ain't no holler back, boy. There ain't no holler back. This ain't no good. Can't figure out how to edit it. Is anybody in? Hello, anybody there? Anybody watching? Anybody listening? Is there anybody out there? Anyone feels seen? Anyone feels the pain? Do. Nothing really interesting in Facebook news-wise lately. On iPhone. Hmm. Okay, what we're seeing here is the two main ships. This is the villain's ship. It is a prototype ship called the Beagle. Yes, that is a reference. However, it's not the reference you think it is. You see, this ship. Now, the scientists in question, that the team of scientists he was working with, in particular, were a division that specialized in high energy and alteration of physical constants, mucking about with time, space, faster than, and particularly experimenting in faster than light travel in all its myriad forms. And the Beagle was their test ship. Those with detachable engine pods, they could slap, take off the wormhole drive from last week, slap a singularity drive in its place, and take off. Yeah, those pods aren't weapons based; they're sensor arrays and faster than light drive pods. The reason they call it the Beagle is because they decided long ago it was going to be a remotely controlled ship, because they figured anybody crazy enough to fly one would earn a Darwin Award. This, of course, did not stop our intrepid villain from deciding he was going to go ahead, massive super experiment, stealing the ship along with the probability vector, the probability wave vector. Now, this ship up here is one of the Empire's battleships, for lack of a better term. It's rather unusual to put a Space Ranger in charge of one, seeing as they normally fly solo. But the circumstances dictated that Commander Quinn is now Captain Quinn of the Intrepid, and he is in pursuit of our villain, Dr. Blackfoot. Air raid siren going on outside. I don't know what's up. Hello. And hello. Good to see somebody here. Hello. Just got Raymond. Yes. Jay, I'm pretty sure that yours is the only penguin. And, well, I figure as a space ranger, since he's always solo, he's flying his own ship all alone. They give him the rank of commander. They save the rank of captain for somebody who's got more than one person subordinate to them. Tired. Let's see. Ooh, fried chicken. Give me chicken. Chicken. Well, had a little scare at the hospital earlier today. Went in to have the wound on my leg checked on. Another course of antibiotics now. Another 2-week course. And the doctor thought I might have a clot in my leg. So it was off to the emergency room and all around the mulberry bush and over the river and through the woods and fortunately, it was not so. They used the ultrasound and checked me over and just poor circulation, I guess. Kind of a hard morning today. One of those mornings where you wake up and you lie there and listen to the alarm clock for 15 minutes, daring it to wake you up. Even though it's going full blast. Yeah, well, the thing of it is, there was nobody in the ultrasound department at the time. I forget what the exact deal was, but he just didn't want me to go home and then come back. Circulatory department. I forget what the department was called, but there was nobody there to look at the stuff. So he routed me through the emergency room to make sure that I did get looked at. But no clot, so yay. And once again, cable TV sucks. A couple hours, gave me a room. They got TVs in the emergency room. That tells you how fast the service is there. Topics of discussion. Let me turn this off. I don't want to chew in here. I gotta run to the restroom. I'll be right back. back. I haven't had Popeye's chicken. Never had Popeye's chicken in my life, so I couldn't compare. It's probably got to be. It's got to be better. It's got to be. Then it's got to be better than KFC because, well, frankly, KFC rests on its laurels, just like McDonald's. McDonald's, Microsoft, and Mickey Mouse, you know, the three main examples of companies that became big by being innovative and daring and producing incredible stuff, and then they got big and decided they could coast for the rest of forever. Okay. This is a question that got raised fairly recently. Christian on Facebook was asking, why is it that of all of man's vices and sins, why is it that homosexuality is the one that's getting pushed the hardest? I mean, you don't see this kind of militant campaigning for any other vice. And he's right. You think about it, they have spent billions of dollars and millions of man hours and countless years of effort trying to normalize sodomy, trying to normalize same-gender sex. They have gone at it with a fervor bordering on the religious, if not transcending it. So why? Ask yourselves. I mean, think about it. Oh, we're talking about a vice that only 2% of the population is even interested in. That's, sexual deviance. Well, if you lump it all together, you got the gays, bis, lesbian, trans, the gibble to the GLBT, XYZ. I swear the variations they've come up with reads off like a new, really perverted section of Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. But they did the numbers. Lesbian, bisexual, transsexual. Make up 2%. 2%. But you look out there, it's definitely more than 2% of the people out that are either pushing for it actively or are saying we ought to accept it, and I am flummoxed as to why. Well, I'm sure they're skewing the numbers. I'm quite sure that there are a lot more people opposed to the spread of homosexuality than are accepting of it. Because when it comes down to brass tacks, they vote against it. They vote at the ballot box, and they vote with their feet and with their dollars. You remember what happened to Chick-fil-A? The gays attacked it, and the next thing you know, there wasn't a single person in any tri-state area that hadn't bought at least one chicken sandwich that day. But even then, you've got to figure that startling number of people pushing for it. I mean, take any vice you care to name, any sin, and you don't see that kind of orchestrated effort towards pushing for the legalization of prostitution or the acceptance of I don't know, drunkenness. I don't know. I can't really think of an example. I can think of two reasons off the top of my head that this is the case. First of all, because there is still active opposition to it. This is why they march, because they know that society is still resisting. They demand complete acceptance, and society, humanity at large, is saying no, we don't. And the second reason being is that, speaking from a theological, spiritual standpoint, the Bible says that when a society goes away from God, turns away from God actively, he gives them up over to their perverse lusts. Again, that doesn't really explain why that particular vice is politicized so much. I mean, there are thousands of other causes that are just, that are questionable, but also have a more legitimate political push point. But I think what it is, speaking from a spiritual standpoint, the reason that the lost world pushes for the acceptance of homosexuality in a society is because the devil knows that once you get somebody to accept buggery as normal, there pretty much isn't anything else that they're not going to be willing to accept. Once you've gone that far, pretty much all the holds are off. No holds barred anymore. Not to be crass, but when you've taken a wing wong up the hoo-ha, you no longer can protest much against anything else. Well, still, crazy. That doesn't, yes, most of the vices are accepted. That's nothing new. The world is a sinful place. But the question is, why, of all the sins, is it that homosexuality gets a political campaign behind it, a propaganda army? No. To be fair, you see a lot of vices that get people. People will get up on a high horse and how dare you say that this is wrong? But homosexuality is unique in regards to how people try to march it forward in our society. Of course, ours is, let's talk about gluttony. Let's consider it. Gluttony is a very unusual thing in our society today. Consider this. Yes, gluttony is a sin. Yes, gluttony is the fault of the sinner. But we live in a society that is both sanctimonious about obesity and hypocritical. Sanctimonious because the only sin left in our society that offends people is to be fat. Hypocritical because the reason so many people are fat has less to do with gluttony than it does with deliberate social actions of people pushing a certain ideology. To clarify, in the 60s is when they started pushing the low-fat, low-meat, high-carb diet. It's when they started, and this was active by vegetarians and vegans, militant vegetarians. And yes, those exist. It's as big as a religion for them as anything else out there is. Now, these people, animal rights activists, and people who cry over Bambi's mama, that kind of thing, they banded together. They want to stop people from eating meat, and they push the vegetarian lifestyle as hard as they can, and they have been ever since the dawn of time. The Bible says that there would come false prophets forbidding the eating of meats. That was a very unusual. It listed off the sort of false teachings that false prophets would be bringing with them, and among them in the list was the forbidding of the eating of meats. Lent, anyone? It's an unusual thing to add to the list until you realize that most of the nature-worshipping neo-pagan cults and the whole neo-pagan thing revolves around the whole we are the same as animals are the same as us, and and therefore it's bad to eat. You look around, you see that most a surprising number of major cults and false religions emphasize forbidding the eating of meat. Islam has its I'm trying to think of that. Hindu, you're not allowed to eat meat because it might be a reincarnated relative. There are sects of paganism and Buddhism, Confucianism, and most of the neo-pagans stump for a vegetarian or vegan lifestyle. And it's very tied into the occult and into the Wiccan and neo-pagan movements. So perhaps it's not. Perhaps it's not so surprising after all. Consider that in the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve fell, the first thing God did was he slew a couple of animals, made coverings out of their skins for Adam and Eve, made clothes for that was a pretty unsubtle establishment of man's role in nature and his relative importance. Now, anyway, in our society, in the 60s, the vegetarians and such started pushing their way into social policies. They were active in pushing the lipid hypothesis, which was junk science right from the get-go. It was outright fraud, in fact. The guy that came up with it should have been arrested. They pushed the idea of low-fat diet. They pushed the idea that eating lots of red meat was bad for you, and that you notice it's always meat that's bad for you. There's mercury in fish, and red meat gives you heart attacks, and white meat gives you cholesterol, and eggs are really bad for you, and it's all about getting people to stop eating meat. And they infiltrated our society, and they got into the government, and the FDA started pushing the low-fat, low-meat, high-carb diet, which has proven to be the very diet you need for obesity. It's been demonstrated. They've done research that it's not caloric intake that's making most people fat. They can go out and find societies where the average community they've gone out and find communities where the average food intake is below starvation, or it's just hanging by a thread from above the starvation level, and there will be people that are just fat. The guy I'm speaking of, he went out into the South American and Mexican communities, and these women would come in. They were, they had they were up in their 30s, they had started they were fat, even though their entire family was malnourished. And it wasn't because the mothers were eating all the food either. What it was is that most of the food they had, beans, rice, corn, it was mostly grains, corn, starch, and very little meat, and made them fat. Obesity is not a sign. Obesity is often a sign of gluttony, yes. But it's also a sign of malnutrition. Now, I am over 400 pounds. I do not hesitate to tell you this. The reason I am fat is, low discipline for one thing. But I also have the deck stacked against me. Because the kind of food I can afford is precisely the kind that's guaranteed to make me balloon up like a whale. I lead a sedentary lifestyle, and when you lead a sedentary lifestyle, that's a feedback loop and a half right there. I used to walk here, even despite everything, despite my getting fatter and fatter. I walked everywhere. I rode my bike everywhere. I didn't have a car. It was either ride the bus, walk somewhere, ride your bike. And even though I was working third shift at a donut shop, eating their leftovers, I stayed pretty fairly active. But all it takes is one bad year, Kid you not, one bad year. 1 year ago, I could still, trot around all over the place. I used to walk around all day at Walmart. I used to trot down to the mailbox 3 or 4 times a week and pick up my mail, no problem, But today. Today, I can't even walk to my own mailbox because 1 year of a round of bad health, end up in the hospital, get my gallbladder out, end up on my back 2 or 3 days, get umbilical hernia operated on, flat on my back again. End up in the hospital on intravenous antibiotics because of an infection in my legs. And my weight shot up. And my muscle strength went down. And my health tanked. But my entire time, you're working with a deck stacked against you. The people who are most sanctimonious about fat, who regard anybody with who isn't a gym class Adonis with contempt are the same people who push and pushed and pushed for a dietary system that was guaranteed to make the American populace enormous. And no, we're not talking about fast food. Fast food was not the problem. Fast food was never the problem. They've had people who have demonstrated you can live on fast food and lose weight, lower your cholesterol, and not by eating not by eating nothing but salads either. The guy that did it was eating cheeseburgers and fried chicken, stuff off the main menu. The worst thing about the high-carb diet is that it's also engineered to make you hungrier. People coming down off the diet refer to as going ketosis. Because you have a period where your body literally has to readjust its everything, get used to burning fat instead of burning sugar. I've known this since I was in grade school. I literally known this since I was in grade school. That was one of the first things we were taught about food. Is that starches turn into sugar. Nobody remembers that anymore. Nobody, everybody's out there, the government's out there with that food pyramid where you're supposed to eat 10 helpings of grains a day, and where you're supposed to take animal fats and olive oil and replace them with corn oil and rapeseed. That's what canola is. It used to be called rapeseed. Very smart marketing choice on their part to change that. I mean, up till the 70s, even in the 70s, people didn't suddenly start eating more. Their caloric suddenly jump. Up to the 70s, people were skinny. So what happened? Our society started eating more starches, started eating more carbs. We started replacing sugar, cane sugar and beet sugar, with corn syrup in everything. We stopped cooking things in lard and started cooking them in vegetable oil. And yeah, that mattered. That mattered. We're designed to digest lard and beef fat, animal fats. We're designed to handle animal fats. And olive oil and natural oils. We are not designed to substitute vegetable oil for the fats that we got in our regular diet. Milk, we drank milk whole, but then they started pushing 2% milk. And you don't think that's a problem? Consider this. Your brain is mostly lipids. And isn't it interesting that they started pushing 2% milk for all our kids in public school right about the age where their brains are developing and need lipids the most? They're suddenly drinking 2% milk and uh, eating government lunches that are 90% carbs. And all of a sudden, we have all these neurological problems in kids: attention deficit disorder, hyperactive disorder, all these other little problems. No, call it a coincidence. But think about it. Just think about it. And it's pretty fairly, and about the hypocrisy issue, there's pretty solid psychological evidence that the real reason obesity has become such a taboo in our society, why obesity is treated with such, disgust and scorn and disdain, is because it's become an easy way to discriminate against the poor, the so-called lower classes, without being obvious about it. Now take the typical caricature that they make of the low, that they make of Americans. It's some redneck, some 500-pound redneck in a mobility scooter with a gun rack and an American flag on the back, through a Walmart. They don't portray Hollywood actresses and supermodels and politicians that way. No, they don't make jokes about fat cat millionaires anymore. It's all about the disgusting lower class and their heaving rolls of fat. Ain't that interesting? And again, the reason that it's simple. In earlier societies, in early ages, being fat was a sign of prosperity. In our culture, being overweight is a sign of poverty, because you can't afford 20 hours a week at the gym and spending all your time counting calories in the aisle of Kroger's. If you were, the stuff that's good for you, you have to pass up because you have to make that paycheck last all week, not just one meal. So it's an easy way to look down on the lower middle class and not be too obvious about it. I have no idea why. I have no idea what CAPTCHAs are. I really don't. I've heard the term. I don't know what it means. I do need to lose weight desperately. Doing so means we don't live exactly in a society that makes it easy, to say the least. And being treated like crap because you aren't sleek and skinny only makes your back go up. For me to lose weight would I just do not have the time and attention to devote to it. I went, back in my 20s and 30s, I went on a couple of diets, took up an exercise regime, the whole, went even started going down to the local rec center and using their gym, and I just came to the conclusion I already had one religion. I didn't need three. I didn't need two. You know what I'm saying? And the worst part is that the only thing, I got to the point where I bored and annoyed myself because all I could find to talk about, all I could find to think about was my diet and how it was going. I pine for the days when I weighed 250. And even then I was big, had a gut. keep going as long as I can. But I'm sort of running on empty at the moment. Excuse me. I'm still awake, barely. Yeah, oh yeah, captures, that's right. For life, I don't know why I couldn't think of what those were. Oh, in case you didn't know, they put another block on one of my videos, my video last night. Had to dispute it again. You know, they even had, we have at the 2-hour mark, we have detected what we believe is musical recordings from, and they list off some album name, and it's random nature noises and wind chimes. So it's every time I write these things, it gets harder and harder to restrain myself and not include the words "you morons." Oh my head. Oh my head. Oh jeez. Oh. When I get a headache, especially a headache from getting too much sleep or too little sleep or not skipping a meal, that headache lasts all day and nothing makes it go away except sleeping again. And it's, oh man alive, it's like a band right across the top of my head where my headband rests. It's like, oh. Beg your pardon. Burping all over the place here. It's burpadelic. Where'd my M&Ms go? Some M&Ms here. Got a bag of M&Ms and I promptly lost them. Oh no! Well, especially since the top isn't wrapped. They take over, they'll spill all over the place, and I don't like that. It's a drag. my M&Ms, man? I can't find my M&Ms, man. I got like red and green Christmas M&Ms for cheap. Can't find them. It's aggravating. They're here somewhere. Oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? Plumbing fixtures. That's a bag of plumbing fixtures. That's not what I want. This place is a nightmare. I kid you not. It's filthy. It's just a mess in here. It looks like some of those photographs you've seen of people's, rat nest layers where they have their computers, and piles of filth everywhere, garbage and cans and stuff. I'm pretty much there. Talk about ponies. Yay, ponies. Yay, ponies. Ponies. Not much to say. I haven't had a chance to sit down and read much in it today. Okay, got one story on here. Is Athletic Spirits. I'm reading. Let's see here. My Family and Other Equestrians. An interesting concept, since just instead of just being a human in Equestria, the guy goes to Equestria, he gets turned into a pony, but his family gets brought along. His mom, his dad, and his kid sister. The thing of it is that they really don't spend much time on that dynamic. The author doesn't really spend a lot of time on it. The other three adapt as humans quite quickly, and they're relegated to background scenery. They pop up once in a while, and I guess he really didn't know how to milk the idea of this brony going, welcome to Equestria, family. I will be your guide. Couldn't quite do too much with that, I guess, or didn't know quite how to do anything with it. Red shirt. Okay, red shirt, number $20. Indie Planet character. Rabbit. I really should put limits on how many slots were available for each rank. This is going to be difficult. Getting everybody in. Oh, free pizza. One large topping pizza with purchase of another pizza. Not interested. Now I know I'm old when I'm not interested in free food. No, no, my digestion won't handle it. All these people I have here to do is stacks and stacks of characters. Yeah, you're talking about, I'm assuming you're referring to My Family and Other Equestrians. When you say it was a genius concept, well, maybe it was a genius concept, but it wasn't really executed. Well, you know, it's not bad reading, but there was potential there that was not explored, and is still not being explored. It really needs it really needed a different approach. You know? I am very afraid that I have overextended myself, that I have overreached myself with this concept. I'm gonna keep marching forward, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to really string this together as well as. Well, it got me worried. No sense in borrowing trouble from tomorrow. too many characters. matter how you dice it, you always expect to see a front windscreen on a spaceship, even if it makes no sense. Okay, excuse me just a second. I'll take care of something real quick. Back again. Oh. Splitting headache. No cure for it but time. Let's see here. Okay, save that. Smart edge now. Point to point. Mm. access to it. Okay. Bad start, actually. Open up with a flashy space battle. Dun 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 dun. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Ah. Yeah. Who is the Lord? This Lord Tyrek you speak of updated today? Yeah, I read that earlier. It was a hoot, as always. Of course, it took a sort of a dark turn. You find out that the brat lieutenant that he kidnapped. You find out rather suddenly that she was basically horribly abused as a child, so badly that she's convinced that her evil father will come back from the dead to kill her if he were to learn that she had married outside of the unicorn race. And that's, you know, I'm like, wow. Of course, it wasn't, the story wasn't exactly, flowers and butterflies before, but really, a little bit much right there all at once. Roger, Ritter. New private message. What do you think about My Little Pony Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks? As little as possible. Look, I've seen the toys that the Equestria Girls line is supposed to be competing with. Okay? Monster High and Bratz and look, I am anything but a feminist, okay? I am anything but a feminist. I look at those Bratz dolls and the Monster High dolls and the similar teen and preteen and tween marketed dolls, and I want to round up the people that made them, hogtie them, and throw them to a seething mob of feminists. I swear I do. It's the most appalling thing I've ever seen. These are marketed to little girls. They're made up like Tijuana sluts. The highlight of their lives is their entire their play sets are built around shopping at the mall. The characters, whether you're talking any of them, it's just appalling. This is not something that Hasbro should be competing with. They should be going off in the exact opposite direction. So I think Equestria Girls is a travesty, and in just about every possible way. It's a terrible idea as a toy franchise. It's a terrible idea as a spin-off of the show. And it just brings out incredible levels of violence in me. Yeah, the Galaxy Girls by Lauren Faust. I've been saying that for months. I've been saying it since day one. Oh, you want to have a line of little girl, tween. They call them tween age now. Girl toys, with a real positive message and everything. Perhaps I could suggest to you this relative unknown over here in the corner by the name of Lauren Faust. Perhaps you've heard of her. It's not like she took one of your crap product lines and turned it into a multi-million-dollar success or anything like that. Yes. Yeah. Oh. My eyeball hurts. You ever have a headache settle in an eyeball? Oh. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I am. Okay, I'm conking out here. My head is splitting too. What I'm going to do? Okay, I'm calling it a night for now. Tomorrow, let's see. I ain't got jack squat I got to do tomorrow, so. Tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow at noon. We'll call it noon. It's still at noon. We'll start the show again. All right. We'll pick up where we left off here, and run it as long, at least for a full 6 hours tomorrow. And we'll do it again on Sunday, in fact. Do it at, we'll say 1 o'clock on Sunday, too. Might as well cram every day we can in. And we'll go from there. All right? Because I'm dragging here. But we did get a bit, I like that panel. I like it muchly. It has the spaceships and the rocks and the stars and the Kirby-esque cosmos in the background and the zappy rays. And it even has craters on the little asteroids, which is really cool. So I'm thinking it's pretty good. Now, I'll mention this again. I need to commission somebody who's good at 3D modeling. I'd like to commission somebody who's good at 3D modeling to make some 3D models, computer models that can be put in a 3D program of my spaceships and satellites and various other objects and buildings and stuff, so that I can put them in a 3D program, rotate them, and pose them and use them for background. So I'm going to be nosing around for that. But for now, thank you all for tuning in. Sorry I'm cutting out early. But we'll pick it up tomorrow at noon. And all else being equal, we'll pick it up again Sunday at 1. Just going to do it, straight through. Vincent Visions. Okay, I'll look him up. And I'll catch you all later. Thank you for tuning in. And say a prayer for me, because apparently I'm getting by God's grace. What a day. Go to the doctor, find out you've got, and they go to the doctor to get a Band-Aid changed and end up in the ER. What a week. Well, see you all tomorrow. Good night.